And now moving on to a quick breaking news update before we take this with our expert reports now suggesting that 67 civilians have been killed by Russian occupiers and have been buried in a mass grave on the territory of a church in Bucha city in the Kyiv region. Some victims have not even been identified. So yet another report coming in, and this is a claim that has been made that several civilians who were killed in the Russian aggression have been buried in mass graves. Let me quickly go across to Pratikrit, who's been joining us every now and then the past few days. Pratikrit, if I could take this to you, the situation extremely tense. We've entered day 18. The situation doesn't seem to be getting any better. President Zelensky wants talks in a neutral location. Whether or not that will be accepted remains to be seen. But even when the two sides reach a common grounds in terms of humanitarian corridors, that too, it seems, if we go by the reports on ground, that also seems to be not really happening. It seems to be a failed idea.
Good evening, Christians. Yeah, see, I have always stated this, there's never a beautiful war. Wars, when they happen, all the distinctions between civilians and uniformed soldiers completely go away. A falling bomb doesn't distinguish between a soldier and a civilian, and all kinds of things happen which are completely, you can't even call them part of the civilized society. But that's how wars are, and that's why all kinds of attempts should have been made to prevent this war. Unfortunately, those attempts were not being made. Today, yeah, it is a reality, Christine. This war has not been a cakewalk for Russia. They were destined to face resistance. Of course, the Ukrainians are fighting for their own country. And so this is going to be very bloody. If you see some of the reports that are coming now that the Russians are asking the Syrians to join the, fight. There are mercenaries joining from on the other side, especially from Europe and North America, to fight for Ukraine. Ukraine is going to be a proxy for a theater for proxy war in the next stage, where there will be bloody street fights that will happen as the huge long convoy will enter Kyiv and Russia will try to take over the Kyiv. So even if the official war gets over, the insurgency is something that we have seen in Iraq and Afghanistan that's going to continue. And sorry to say, Ukraine is going to be the next Syria or Iraq in terms of what would happen in terms of devastation. Secondly, when the demand of Zelensky that he is okay with the talk if it happens in a neutral venue like Jerusalem. Yeah, Zelensky being a Jewish, and the fact remains that there are large number of Ukrainians who had gone to the Jewish state when it was formed. I think it is highly unlikely that Putin would go out of Russia right now for anywhere else in the world for any kind of meeting. So I don't think, even if the meeting is supposed to happen between the Russian president and the Ukrainian president, if it has to happen, then probably it will happen either in Russia or Belarus. I don't think the Russians will agree for any other place. Secondly, I don't think the Ukrainians are today, given the situation of the war, in any position to actually dictate the terms to the Russians as to where the war, the venue should be. Because, we have seen how NATO has
so much of it is between Russia and the United States, isn't it, Pratikrit? With Russia now in yet another provocation saying that it will be targeting Western arms supplies. That's also something that we're watching out for. And their attack, remember, continues with a military installation that has come under attack that had Ukrainian soldiers trained under NATO allies. So that's a development that is certainly a cause of worry. So remains to be seen how this plays out. But for the moment, thank you for that quick war analysis, Pratikrit.